this is only the second community theater I've ever done, and I really enjoy it. I was asked to remount a show in Sydney, Australia a few years ago. And what I like about it is the commitment, because people who are doing it are not doing it because it's their job, they're doing it because they love it. And it's so nice to come into a rehearsal hall where people really want to do it. I mean, everybody's giving their own time, and they could be at home with their families watching TV or going out to dinner or whatever they do, but people have made a commitment to give up their time to be part of this amazing journey, and also particularly this one, because it's very challenging, and I don't think anybody is going to find it a safe choice. Everybody is being stretched in it in some way. I'm Diana Denley, and I'm directing Moby Dick for the Theatre Workshop of Nantucket. I've been wanting to direct here for a long time. Mac Dixon was my mentor, and I always hoped to come back and direct while he was alive, but I wasn't able to. And this year when I talked with Warren and I said I might be able to fit in a season here, he said, well, look, find a play you like, whatever you want, and you can do it. So I shortlisted it down to about 3 plays. 2 of them were okay, but this one I really wanted to do. So I said to him, I'm sure you've done Moby Dick by now, the Orson Welles Moby Dick. He said he'd never heard of it. So I said, well, that's what I want to do, because it'll be a challenge for me, and it'll be a challenge for the members of the theatre workshop, because I didn't want to do something that would be easy for me either. I wanted something that made it worthwhile for me to come all the way from Australia for 3 months to Nantucket. I wanted to do something that would stretch me as well as the people involved. So that's why I wanted to do it. Well, it's a challenging play because it has all the problems of Shakespeare, and it is an epic piece of work, and it's got big language and big ideas and themes. And I think Orson Welles actually starts this play with a company who's in production for King Lear. So he sets up the fact that we're with a company that is doing big theater.
This is a very difficult part. I mean, he's a very complex guy. Very complex. And, you know, I mean, everybody who thinks about this play probably remembers Gregory Peck. So it's like how to play against what Gregory Peck did. And, but how many characters is there's the person in the beginning, the director of the play, then Lear, there's a little bit of Lear in here, then Father Mapple, and Ahab. So there's 4 characters in this play that I'm trying to create something different with, and yet have some kind of maybe similarity about them, whether their attitudes are similar or something like that. But
is it your most challenging role, would you say?
It's certainly, if not certainly one of the most, by far, yeah.
Have you played Shakespeare before?
Yeah, I played Andrew Aguecheek in Twelfth Night, which was a lot of fun to do. He was a hoot. Well, I do cabinet work, but then I also work for the town.
You work for the town? How's that going?
It's steady work. Nothing. It's very steady work. The knowledge of what goes into a production and how it doesn't look, what the audience doesn't see, and that should really be special.
My name is Gail Michael, and I've lived here for 16 years, and I've done a lot of things and worked in a lot of places. Right now I work for the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the assistant office manager.
How's that going?
Very well. It's a real busy time for us because we're getting ready for Cranberry Harvest Week, and we've got our annual dinner coming up at the end of the month, and we're already getting ready for Stroll at the beginning of December. I started in community theater here in 1984, and I've done a lot of different things. I've worked for Theatre Workshop and for Actors Theatre of Nantucket. Backstage, props, costumes, stage managing, on stage for both. I did it before I moved here, community theater, high school, college, and I wanted to continue what I was doing. It's interesting. It's bringing out a lot of things in me that I hadn't expected would. I was sort of intimidated by the part because I didn't think that I could really get into that character. And now that I've been working on it, and Diana is such a wonderful director that she's really brought out a lot in me. And it's not so much a counterpoint character as it is finding things inside of myself that I didn't think were there. And I'm really thrilled to be doing it.
My name's Martha Moore. I'm playing the stage manager tonight. And what I like about community theater is that you get to be somebody you're usually not. Though I've been a stage manager before.
In real life?
In real life.
Okay.
Right. Except here I get to sit out in a large space. When I was actually a stage manager, I had to crouch in a little tiny dark space with cobwebs. So this is better.
So what's the part like?
The part, it's a funny part because it's an interesting script. It's sort of setting up. It's the stage directions that you usually read as an actor in your script but don't get said. And so they're actually said, it's almost like a radio show where there's a voice that describes the scene, and then with a rudimentary set, then the audience has to fill in the rest.
Okay. What do you do when you're not being a stage manager?
When I'm not being a stage manager, I'm an architect and design houses here on Nantucket, and like it a lot.
What do you like about that?
I love to draw, I love to design, I love to work with people to help them realize their own little dreams. So. You're telling a story, and you see that the audience has lost itself in the story that you're telling, and that they're reacting. When you hear people react, they either laugh or they hiss, or sometimes they even cry.
My name's Gino Gang, and I'm playing Ishmael. No, I'm not. I'm playing Queequeg. That's what I'm playing. And I think I got the part because I have a bald head, and that I might have been stereotyped. But actually, I wanted to play this part because the director is professional, and as a director myself, I feel like I want to reach out and learn more about directing actors and working with actors. It always helps to get as much information as possible and learn as much as you can. But other than that, my part is of a bloodthirsty, man-eating cannibal.
When I could scarce believe him mine.
Working on stage is absolutely, totally different. There's that dimension where the audience is really asked to stay out of. In film, you're asked to go inside the frame and to be a part of it. And for that reason, you can't compare them. The one thing, though, that is very much satisfying is the ability for the actor to, to have instant response from an audience, and it's very nice. I mean, it can be very nice. It also can be very awful. You can also have a real bad time if the performance isn't up to par. But you get that instant gratification or instant response from an audience, and. That and working with, like I said, working with the director has been, a real good experience for me.
Then they don't get any air and all the water that gets into them.
My name is Edward Laurie, and presently landscaping. Have been for a couple of years down here in the summertime. It's what I normally do, and do a lot of other things, all depending on the time of year. I got into theater quite a few years ago, and every year I seem to do some kind of protection, either as an actor or as a stage manager or whatever, but theater's great. I mean, I love doing the theater. It's nice being on stage. It's nice just to perform, be somebody else, and it's got a lot of energy to it, and I like things with a lot of energy. Hopefully, I just keep continuing doing it every year. I'd like to do a show of some capacity of a sort.